Hey Faith family, welcome to the Beyond Sunday podcast at Calvary Bible, where we go beyond the Sunday sermon to explore some rabbit holes and to bring some biblical truths to the surface. We hope you enjoyed today's episode.
Faith family, it is great to be with you, not physically, but in listening or listening or seeing on YouTube. Either way, I am joining Jonathan to talk through Sunday's message. I'm looking forward to it. So if you weren't with us on Sunday, Jonathan preached on Mark chapter 12. We were going through the section where Jesus is asked, what is the first and greatest commandment? And then he answers that. And we're in the midst kind of, I don't know, how many weeks is it that we're going through this sermon series? 7, 8? 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Just talking through and looking at what scripture says a mature disciple is. Actually, you gave me the ability to host this. I'm going to quiz you already. Can you say the statement that we're going through on Sunday mornings? Did you have us read with you?
I did this for Randy last week.
Did you actually?
Yeah,
okay. How did he do?
I did. He did pretty well. I'd give him a passing grade.
Okay.
But you had a couple of things that were a little fuzzy. So I'll see what I can do. Our aim is to make deep disciple or mature disciples who have a deep faith in, love for, and knowledge of God, actively serving and growing in Christ-like character.
That's right. The only part that I don't know about the beginning.
Yeah, the beginning I might have been a little.
Yeah, that's all right. Either way, you got the main points. So last week we talked about faith.
Yeah.
And this Sunday we focused on the love aspect of a mature disciple.
Yeah, but what I want to get in here real quick is you just skipped. Since you're the host, you skipped right over the small talk. I apologize.
You got
right
went
to the
right
point,
to it. Yeah,
which I do like, but I have a joke for you.
Okay, actually,
I don't
thought
want to let
I
people down.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Tell me the joke. I think I had something that too. I don't remember. What it was.
Did you hear about the guy who had his mustache taken from him?
That's a crime. No, I did not hear about him.
It was stolen right from underneath his nose.
Wow, that's brutal. I would hate for that to happen to somebody.
Have you heard many mustache jokes?
I have not, surprisingly.
Hey, there you go, baby.
That's the first time I heard that one, but we'll be adding that one to the repertoire. Usually, I don't get like jokes about mustaches. People just make jokes about my mustache, like, "Oh, you look like Mario from Mario Kart" and stuff like that.
You really? So I have not told you this yet, but my girls came home one day. This is going back like 2 months.
Yeah.
And Maddie and Anna said, he looks like Luigi.
Yeah, I've gotten that.
Have you gotten that?
Yeah, I've gotten both of them. Yeah.
You're definitely more of a Luigi guy. I agree.
You think so?
Well,
or
Mario's short. Mario's short and on the plump side.
Right. I thought we were talking just mustache build, not, actual like body build.
No, we're talking about body build. You stick some green overalls on you and a green hat. Mario. I'm sorry, Luigi.
Luigi. Call, yeah.
All day.
I mean, that's always who I play when I'm playing Mario Kart. Luigi's my go-to. My brother's Mario. I'm Luigi. So maybe that was maybe I was inspired by that, and I just subconsciously didn't know.
It sounds about
right.
right.
I don't know. I thought I had a joke for you. I was probably making fun of Randy, but I don't remember what it was.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
well, if it comes to you later, you can always add it in.
Yeah.
And
good joke though. That was funny.
All right, now go ahead.
I'll add that one. Alrighty, so I have 2 questions for you in relation to your sermon, and I'm excited to hear your thoughts. So the first question, maybe not necessarily too deep, but I think one of the things that I wrestle through as I'm talking about or thinking through how do we love God and love others is I can find myself doing it out of like a legalistic mindset, if that makes sense, where it's what you're supposed to do, so you do it. My question then is just simply like, is there a way, or how can you know whether you're loving God and loving others from a pure heart, or if it's with a legalistic mindset of like doing it out of obligation instead of love?
Yeah.
There's probably no quiz that you can take, but I'd be curious to hear your thoughts. Like, maybe what are signs that we're loving from a genuine heart?
Yeah, and that's a great question. I think so many people struggle with that because we want to have pure motives or intentions, but there's a lot, like as sinners, there's always this factor of some kind of sin getting in the way where we're just doing it out of obligation or duty, like you said. Or for me, sometimes it's like, am I doing this so that other people think well of me?
Right.
And, so like on Sunday, I pressed the application point to say, like, who's someone who's difficult to love, and what can you do this week that is a kind, generous, loving act for them, to them, etc. And but then I think I couched it with, but don't just go do it because I'm telling you to do it so you can check it off your box. So I would sometimes catch myself doing good things or doing loving things towards others so that maybe other people were watching and they would think, oh, hey, Jonathan's a really great guy. Look at him doing that kind thing for that person. And that's, at the end of the day, that's like a selfish motive. Instead of a love for God motive, it's a love for self motive. So how do you know? I think for me anyway, it's monitoring my heart. Do I have to, am I expecting anything in return?
Right.
How much am I expecting something back from a person versus just doing it out of a love for God, which I think from the average when they are witnessing you, they would say, oh, he's just doing that out of the kindness of his heart. He's not expecting anything in return if someone was happened to be watching. So that would maybe be one way to do it, but just gauging your motives, in that whole process.
Right.
Is it selfish in some ways, or am I trying to get something back out of it from the other person? Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Or another even gauge is just like, are you aware of, are people watching, like that? I think that could be just another gauge. Like, am I doing this, with would I be fine to do this if nobody saw what I was doing?
Right.
Could be another one.
Yeah.
A quick thought that I had, because I was processing this question this week for myself, and I'll get into it in a bit of why I was thinking that. But just for me, thinking through, you already mentioned it, but like the motives behind it, for me is am I doing it because I genuinely love the Lord and the advancement of his kingdom, or am I doing it for the advancement of my own kingdom, more or less? And so just thinking through, or just being aware of those motives. Like, I had that thought recently this week of okay, am I loving this person just because it's what I'm supposed to do, or am I loving them because I care about them and I care about the ministry, or I care about the kingdom being advanced, or what is it that is actually driving my love for them? And so just being aware of those motives.
Yeah. I think practically, for a close relationship, whether it's a spouse or a brother, sister, or parent, we can do kind things for someone, and then if we do it with the hope of, I hope they, reciprocate in some way.
Right.
And I think maybe the closer you are to that person, the more you might fall into that trap, because now they owe you something. Whereas someone who's, a stranger who's a little bit more distant from you, they're not even going to have a chance to give you anything back. But in those close relationships, people we're related to, we live with, close friends with, we work with, you buy someone lunch one day because they forgot their wallet. Are you expecting them to buy lunch the next time?
Right. Yeah.
Or is it just, no, hey, I got this, and, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, and I think just being aware of your own heart too in those times. So for the example for me was, my brother called me on Sunday, said his car broke down. I was relaxing before coming to VBS, and he was like, do you have time before VBS to come over and push my car down the road to the mechanic shop? And there was a little bit of a window I had. And so I did it. And I remember leaving and was like, oh, well, there we go. Pat on the back. I love my brother well today. And so it began this process in my mind of how am I aware of times where I'm loving others because I love the Lord and I love them from a pure heart, or when am I doing it for those selfish kind of, whether it's out of obligation, or even if it's the selfish times where you're doing it to get something back,
Yeah.
So that's been the thought rolling around my head and mind this last couple of days.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if you're keeping score, then it's probably not being done out of love for God. And then if you're doing it so that other people think well of you, or they think well of you, again, that's selfish. How do you think, what would and this may not even be possible, so I'm just kind of like, think tank here. What would a pure love for God, or, act of love that's coming from a love of God, love for God, what would that look like? What would it look like for you and I to love, to do something? We'll just use your brother as an example. What's going on in Austin's heart and mind where the love for God or of God is driving that action? What do you think?
Yeah. A couple of thoughts coming to mind would be, one, just like, here's a brother, besides just a brother, like he's a brother in Christ, who I'm called to like sacrificially like give up myself for. And so even though I might not feel like it, for me, it's like, no, I'm going to go, like, this is one way that I can like genuinely bless him. And if I'm living with as I was challenging my devotions today, of like glorifying the Lord and looking different, for me, maybe, a major concern is like, I want to glorify the Lord in my actions. And by, blessing my brother in this way, I'm glorifying the Lord, which is that, like, that's what my goal is, glorifying the Lord. And so I don't know. I'm just, kind of brainstorming here. I don't know.
Yeah.
Some other things off the top of my head, but, that would be one, is just like wanting to bless him and glorify the Lord in my actions. And doing that is going to be glorifying the Lord, more than like glorifying myself. My goal would be like, I want the Lord's name to be glorified. And so I'm going to give up of myself to bless others and then glorify the Lord in that. Yeah.
And I think as God changes our character and we become less self-centered and more selfless, we have to fight. We won't have to fight, or we won't pick up as much on the, if your brother calls and he's like, hey, can you bail me out here? I need a hand or favor. If your instant reaction is like, oh my goodness, like my brother again, like this guy, and like, you start to like complain and like think, man, like he's going to owe me one, or, you hold it against him for a little while or whatever. Like the more like Christ we are, the more the pure love for God, like those kind of things are going to fade away.
Yeah, right.
And what's going to be coming out is, sure, be happy to help, and you can use like the gospel, illustration there, where it's like, God's been gracious to me, I'm going to be gracious to them. He's sacrificed for me, well, I'm going to go sacrifice for someone else. It's not my time, it's his time. I'm stewarding what God's given me, so I can give it to other people. That's good. Those kind of motives, if we're, if they're gospel-centered motives or gospel-driven motives, it's going to change who we are and change our response when someone needs to be loved or cared for.
Yep.
I had this is my one chance to sneak this in. I offer a quick thank you. One of our podcast listeners sent me a gift anonymously, so they didn't want anything back. So here's a chance to say thank you if you're listening.
You're welcome. I'm joking.
It was a little journal. We talked about remembering what God has done in our lives. So I got a 5-year journal, and I just started it this week. So every day you can write down a few lines and want to remember God's faithfulness in my life. So anyway, that's pretty neat. But what made it come to my mind is, it wasn't someone who gave it to me. It was just, the anonymous gift. They won't receive any more than that. Thanks from me. And that's not a lot, honestly. So, yeah, there you go.
Good.
What else you got cooking?
That was helpful for me. Beyond just the the host of the podcast. That was good. Second question here. You made us all think about somebody in our life that was hard to love. So who was that person for you?
Can't tell you.
I'm joking. That's not my second question. My second question is, how have you lived out your sermon in the past few days? Is there any examples that, come to mind, and kind of throwing you on the spot, or maybe not even necessarily how you lived it out, but is there an instance where, what you have been teaching on and learning has something clicked in your brain, or something was like, oh, yep, remembering back to
Yeah. I
something.
mean, for me, I'm a selfish person, right? And so God has had to do a major work in my life to change me from being a self-centered, selfish person to think of others more, to think of others first, to give of my time and energy and whatever. And so, I mean, I think from the outside, someone might look at me and say, "Oh no, Jonathan, he's not selfish," but you just don't see what's going on right in my heart and mind all the time.
Yeah, for all of us,
and it is almost always like the eyes are turned inward and not outward. So for me, it's sometimes like remembering someone's birthday, or jotting them a quick note, or we've had all this rain, so checking in on somebody. Hey, are you okay? Do you need a hand? And then being willing to go, right, if they do. And so, here in Mount Joy, we got those 7+ inches of rain yesterday. And it's like, we have some people who, had some water problems, and to see the faith family, and even here at church, someone reached out to me yesterday and said, "Hey, does the church need a fan and a dehumidifier? Like, I've got some of these things, vacuum, I can, come over and help, drop it off, whatever." So, so for me personally, it's just not thinking about myself so much, because I do. And again, the natural bent of my life is just the path of least resistance, which is always about making me comfortable, and sitting on my couch instead of, pushing a car or whatever it is. And that's just the Lord continuing to refine me. But yeah, so for me, it's some of those things. And I think those are important, at least for me, because they're small. I can do some of those things regularly, apart from a natural disaster, if you wanted to call the rain that yesterday. Just checking in on people, remembering something that's coming up in their life, and following through, praying for them, and that kind of thing, as opposed to just all of my own world and needs, etc. So, yeah. How about yourself? How do you think about loving other people practically?
A couple of this, your sermon has come to mind for me a couple of times this week. The first one was that instance where I was pushing my brother's car down the road. Real quick side story, I already told you, but as we were pushing his car down the road, I'm in cowboy boots and jeans because I got to go over to VBS to play Cowboy in the Skit. I'm sweating. The car is going downhill and we're trying to keep up with it. So I'm running after this car and I hear somebody in a pool yell, "Is that Austin?" And I was like, "Oh no, this is not the time that I need to get recognized." And sure enough, Ben Ebersol was swimming in a pool, his grandfather's pool, and recognized me running down the road. So that was kind of funny. Anyway, that was one instance of like getting that call and being like, okay, I'm going to go and love my brother well, even though I could probably give in my mind, a valid enough excuse to be like, "Oh, I got VBS, I can't make it over." And then the other example is just I'm blessed to have 2 weeks here with Landon. And so one way I've been thinking through this for me is just like being intentional to love him by doing what I can to serve him this week and set him up as best I can. As I start getting closer to the end, it gets and to what's next, it's easy for me to to want to start like phasing out or checking out and being like, okay, I'm excited for what's next. But one way I can love Landon is, do some of the work that I could just be like, he's going to do, after he's here, and do what I can to set him up well. And so that was one of the thoughts for me is like, I want to do this not just because I love Landon, but because I care about the ministry and the students in it. So just came to mind this week as I've been navigating through, kind of my finishing out week here at the church.
That's good.
Finishing well, but in that is loving well, I feel like. So,
which brings up a great question. How can we love Austin as he segues out of Calvary Bible and heads down to Texas? Maybe some prayer requests or anything else practical?
Prayers would be great. Yeah, I would appreciate prayers for travel is the big one, and transition are kind of the two that as I think through this next what happens next after I leave here. It's really getting packed up and traveling down there. So I'm doing a road trip with some of my family members to go down to Texas. So it'll be fun instead of just like, goodbye. we get to do a road trip down there, see some things together, and then I'll drop some of my family members off at the airport and I'll stay down there. But at that point, I'm stepping into a new area with new people, similar to Landon in the sense that, entering into like something completely new and unknown. Mm-hmm. So prayers for safety and travels, and then just like a smooth transition into my responsibilities there, and and the people that I'm going to meet. And then the last thing that comes to mind is just a soft heart that's ready to learn what the Lord has to teach me. Like, I'm genuinely really excited for the times I'm going to have to learn and grow in my relationship with the Lord, and the books I'm going to read and the verses I'll memorize and the ministry experience I'll get. So just wanting to try and be a sponge and learn as much as I can. That's kind of been on my heart and mind, is, wanted to capitalize on an awesome opportunity like this.
Yeah,
so
that's good.
Learning well.
I can't remember who's heard what and what conversations were private and personal and others that were, broadcast to the church in one way. Does the church know the role you're stepping into?
Probably
Have we told
not.
that?
No, I don't even.
Take a couple minutes and explain.
Okay.
What the internship looks like, what it entails, how long, and kind of your spot there.
That'd be good, because I've had people come up and ask me, and I've realized, I haven't,
they
told
just
anybody.
know
They just not
Texas.
leaving, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I am going to Watermark Community Church to get further education and ministry experience. And so it's not a seminary, although I will get seminary credits from it. But what's going to happen is I'm going to go and I'll be living in a dorm room with 3 other guys in the program. And all 3 of us are serving at the church in various ways. And we're also in the learning program together. And so I will be in the classroom 20 hours a week, working my way through the entire Bible, which is where the seminary master's level training will happen. And then the other 20 hours, I get to work at the church as a staff member. And so I will be working with the men's community groups, which would be similar to our care and share groups. It's just the adult small group ministry that they have. And so I'll be serving on the team of guys that is overseeing those they call them community groups. Yeah. So 20 hours of in classroom, 20 hours of like actually serving at the church. So it's unique in the sense that, like college, I'll be learning, but unlike college, I'm working there. And so I don't get the, 1 month winter break and all of those things. I have vacation days, and they pay me a little bit of money to go towards my work there. So it's a good mix of learning and hands-on experience.
Yeah. Yeah. And it starts in
the beginning of August. So August 11th is my very first day. And then May 22nd or whatever, I don't know the exact date, is my last day. So it's 10 months. They start early. They start schools early down there. Like Landon from Alabama? No.
Because it's hot. No one wants to be outside.
Gotcha. That would make sense.
Yeah. Whereas up here, it's like, it's hot, but it's not unbearably hot.
Because Landon was like, why do you guys not go to school till like the end of August? Yeah. So they go to school at like the beginning of August there. So for them, it's more like a normal school year. Now, granted, it would go longer in May, but it's a 10-month program, August through May.
And then maybe another prayer request I'll add for you is you don't know what's after May.
Correct.
So,
no idea.
For 10 months, we can be praying for kind of those next steps as that unfolds for you. And we'll see what the Lord does and where he leads, and excited to follow up. Yeah.
I've had people ask for my address in Texas, which I just got because I have my roommates, I have my apartment. So I will try and send that out on Realm. If not, if I forget before I leave, I'll text it to Jill.
You don't want to just put it on YouTube?
I don't have it memorized off the top of my head.
You don't want to put it on YouTube?
Say it. Yeah,
probably.
But, probably not. But anyway, I've had, people have been really loving. People have asked if they could have my address, they could send some letters. So feel free to do that. I would love that.
Awesome. Did the joke come back to you?
Yeah, the joke was, who was the person you thought about? So it wasn't much of a joke, but I fit it in. You see how I did that? I fit it in. Last thing that I'll say is I'm repping my I Heart shirt, which is great because we were talking about love. And so it says, I Heart Jesus. Okay. So I just wanted to clarify who it says that I was loving. And it fits really well because I'm doing a podcast talking about loving God and loving others. So
good.
Just that cool.
All right. If people have questions, where should they send them to?
Is it
For the
podcast at cbcmj.com? Did I get it right?
You got it.
Okay, so if you have questions, send them to podcast. That's podcast.
Go Donegal.
Yep, that's right. At mj.com. There we go. Faith family, is this it?
Yes.
This is good. Faith
Close it
family.
down.
Thank you guys for loving and caring for me. Thank you for listening. Jonathan loves you. I love you. Thanks for having us.
See ya.
Thanks again for joining us on today's episode. And remember, our Sunday sermons are meant to lead us to a life of worship beyond Sunday.